Okay, before we start anything, here are the rules. I have 3 lives. If I die 3 times, I have to completely restart the run all the way back to the beginning. If I'm about to die, I cannot force shut down my laptop or simply load away to prevent my death. And that's it. The run is not over until I save the world from the Oblivion crisis. Chapter 0. First, we need to exist. But this brings up the question, which race should we play as? In Oblivion, the races are not equal at all. A fact Dagoff would completely agree with. For the 2 races I was split on was Breton or Dark Elf, since the most dangerous place to be in would obviously be via Plains of Oblivion, where fire magic is common. The Dark Elf's innate resistance to fire was pretty appealing. That is, until you figure out that Breton has an automatic 50% resistance to all spells, plus a pretty good racial power that boosts damage resistance. Sorry, Dagoff, but we will not be honoring the 6th house in this challenge. After we pick our race, we're told we're going to die by low-tier Dark Elf in the other cell, who then says someone's coming. We find out who he's talking about is actually the Emperor, who says he's seen us in his dreams, but like totally not in a creepy way. Then gives us a full Imperial pardon. After walking with him for a while, we get attacked by assassins, and then we have to go our separate ways. By the way, I have not played this game in nearly a decade, and I'm having to relearn the game. Luckily, the rats are basically no challenge, and eventually, it all just starts flowing back. Fast forward some rat killing and goblin genocide later, we meet back up with the Emperor, who does some horoscope nonsense about my stars or something. Here, we pick the Thief birth sign, mainly because it's objectively the best pick. It gives you a lot of bonuses to your character. A good second would have perhaps been the Asterisk sign, for another 50% resistance to magic to become invulnerable, but having no magic regeneration just made it seem far too punishing to pick. After which, the Emperor finishes telling us the value of crystals. We move a little further back, where we're ambushed again, with the Emperor having his back to the wall and I'm guarding him, where he basically looks me in the eye, says that his destiny is that he's doomed to die, but you still have a chance. Save the world. And just like he predicted, he dies. Our last Blade friend, however, did survive, and he's currently having a crisis of faith, but in his depression, he gives us one last chance to customize our character. In summary, I chose to specialize in most forms of magic, most importantly being destruction and conjuration, then blade and heavy armor. After this, we're given a simple mission: take the Amulet of Kings to the Priory, and hope Joffrey has a plan. Chapter 1. I'm broke as hell, and incredibly weak. After fighting my way out of the sewer and finally getting a breath of fresh air, I'm finally free to do whatever I want. I'm immediately attracted to the ruins in front of me, so I decide to go over there, and this is where I'm given a quick reality check. After struggling to kill just one bandit, I realize just how weak I am. I'm also completely broke, and don't want to risk dying, so I retreat immediately to the Imperial City. Now, one of the best ways to make money, I remember, is to go to the arena. The problem is that they're all battles to the death, so if I'm ever outclassed, there's nothing I can do other than die. After going into the arena, I'm both treated with respect by the local champion, the Grey Prince, and then I'm told that I'm trash by basically everyone else. And to be fair, they're not too far off. Mind you, 1 minute ago, I just ran away from fighting one bandit. So they're not too far off, but I need cash, quick. So I decide to fight a couple battles in the arena. They go well, but once I start consistently hitting points where my health is going below half, I stop fighting and decide to go back to those ruins with slightly fancier equipment and spells to go clear her out. 2, surprisingly, pretty good success, because I found out something. Conjuration magic is insanely good. And it's all because of this guy, the Scamp. Now, he doesn't seem to grab enemies aggro, but because the Scamp is always summoned right next to me, and most enemies want to get within melee range of me, when the Scamp starts whipping out the melee combos, he shreds enemies' health. I am but a baby next to the supremacy of this Scamp. There may be a million Scamps in Oblivion, but you know what? This one's mine. With the help of my Daedric friend, I clear the ruins with no deaths. After this, I'm feeling pretty good. Which is, in fact, foreshadowing, by the way. So, after this, I decided to go to the Grey Princess quest, so I can infuse him with the biggest debuff of all, depression. As I'm going through the fort, however, for some ungodly reason, I decide that I don't want to summon my scamp this time. I want to see how much I can handle it on my own. So I open the door and see a wolf, and I think to myself, perfect. And I start fighting him. More importantly, I start losing to him. See, there's a key feature I didn't realize about this big dog. It was a high-level wolf. It was a timber wolf, not a regular one. By the time I realized this, I'm already kinda panicking because I'm getting my ass beat. I tried closing the door on him, but then he just went right through it. He's about to bite me, I realize. I've got to use some of my precious potions. And then, I'm pretty sure I either misclicked or pressed the button too late, and I'm killed by the wolf. I had a lot of emotions here. A weird mix between annoyance, anger, and humiliation. I kinda imagined my first death being something a little more epic. Like fighting a group of Daedra or something, or falling into a pit of lava in the plains of Oblivion. You know, something that would be a bit better for a song, and not die to the wolf because I fucked around and found out. I won't lie. I consider just restarting at this point. I mean, I'm under 5 hours in, I've already suffered my first death, but that was completely preventable, and now I'm just down to 2 lives, and I've barely even started the main quest. But after thinking about it, it just didn't seem right. The whole point of the challenge is to see how far I can go with 3 lives. If I just restart, in a sense, I'm pretty much dishonoring the whole point of the challenge. So I decided just to reload, move on, and take this as a lesson to never get complacent. Project Zomboid players know exactly what I'm talking about. After this, I clear the fort with no issues, or at least no more issues. I give the Grey Prince his dad's diary where he has an existential crisis and now permanently wants to die. Which is great! In case we need to fight him later. After finishing up with the Grey Prince, I decided to go ahead off to do the Mage Guild quest. I get distracted, though, and help a father ensure that his 2 sons survive a goblin attack, and then I get a fancy sword. After helping the 2 sons out, I decided to do more Mage Guild quests. There's not much to say about them since they're not really too dangerous. The most standout one to me is the part where you trick a rogue mage into attacking you because she thinks you're a merchant, and then your mage buddies all come in and we all beat her to death and take her loot. I won't lie, I thought it was a little tedious at first, doing all the quests, but being able to enchant armor and craft spells is a lot of fun, and is also incredibly powerful. After getting my official magical license, I went back to the arena for more battles. I had a system down, which I called being a filthy coward, where I hid in the back and would put my shield up and would pretty much let my conjured scamp do most of the fighting for me. This worked, up until I was told I'd have to fight 3 opponents. I won't lie, I was pretty worried about this one, but I remembered having a good amount of potions, and did get a fancier summon, and if my scamp was this good, then the next thing I'm going to be pumping out is surely going to be better. So I pretty much said, sure, why not? And there, of course, I was barely only surviving due to potion spamming. I was insanely disappointed with my summon, and trusting in it almost got me killed. I needed a different summon, something a lot more dependable, something a little more frosty, and boy did I find it. The Frost summon is amazing, mainly for one reason. I don't know why, but enemies just hate this thing. They will attack my summon, even if I'm roughly the same distance from it. I don't know if it's because he's so damn girthy, but enemies just hate him. And his melee is really strong. A total upgrade from the scamp in every single way. Okay, so this quest deserves its own introduction. Basically, you have this Argonian mage who is friends with this high elf who did some whack-ass magic mushrooms and is now trapped in a dream realm. You need to go in there, but you're told that you have no idea what it's going to be like, and when you get in there, to make matters worse, if the high elf dies, you die as well. Given I'm not supposed to die, this is a pretty terrifying introduction. But I feel bad for the Argonian, and I'm kind of excited for the challenge, so I say yes. What's the worst that can happen? Immediately, I regret my decision. As it turns out, when you enter his dream, you will forget all your spells. You don't have any of your equipment, and your only items are the stuff that you are given in his dream. This isn't a dream, it's a nightmare. To get out, you have to do 4 challenges. One is they have to jump into this big pool of water and make it to the end. Not too difficult, but if you accidentally, like, turn yourself around where you're at that kind of weird swimming stage where you don't know where up is or down is, you're basically doomed. Then, there's this perception puzzle, where I almost fall off the edge because I didn't understand that I was getting pushed by a trap. I was a real nervous wreck in this one. Third is just a battle one. This one's actually the easiest. You just fight minotaurs, just blast them with your magic staff, easy win. And then there's the final one. This challenge is a puzzle. I don't want to make too much time on this, but I'm just going to put out my biases right now. I hate puzzles. I despise puzzles in video games. 90% of the time, if there's a puzzle in the video game, I get mad. But because there's only 2 ways this goes, either I slam my head into it until eventually I get it and I feel nothing, but rage for the waste of time, or I look it up and it's still a waste of time, but at least I get over quickly. I should have done the latter. I tried to read the pamphlet to understand what it wants me to do, and then when I think I understand it, I'm walking, and then boom. I missed it, getting blasted with 100 arrows, basically dying instantly. This is my second death, and I only have 1 life left. Well, at least it wasn't a wolf. After reloading and learning from my mistake, I managed to actually survive the puzzle and grab the final orb necessary to escape. After giving the stupid elven mage all his damn orbs, we both awaken at a job well done. My reward, in case you're wondering, is being given a bunch of shitty scrolls I will never use. After being smacked down to only 1 life, I decide it's time to change gears. Chapter 2. I should probably do that main quest now. Oh boy, I can't wait to see my favorite city of Kvatch. Oh. Okay, so Kvatch is basically destroyed, but there is at least a front line. I talked with the boys, and I'm told that I should go into the gate and hope to God there's a way to close it. Welcome to the Plains of Oblivion. Oblivion is terrifying. Very dangerous enemies, very dangerous terrain, and in the tower there are traps. Luckily, I have my Frost Jojo stand, which helps me get through it, and thank God the Daedra want to kill him more than me. After fighting my way through the plains up to the tower, I grab the fancy sigil, destroying the gate and teleporting me back. After this, I go back to the chapel to get Martin. I fight with the guards, all of whom, by the way, die, minus the immortal one. After talking to Martin, convincing him to follow me, I'm then convinced to do even more hero work by taking back the city of Kvatch. Or at least, what's left of it from the Daedra. Frankly, I think the fighting here was actually more brutal than the Plains of Oblivion. I even had reinforcements from multiple guards fighting with me, and an Imperial patrol came by to help, and once again, everyone but the Immortals would die before the siege is lifted. There was even a moment I had to open a gate, and all of the Daedra were poking their heads through it. Basically, I tried to kill them, but I couldn't actually damage them, so, having no choice, I opened the gate and watched as they flooded through. Luckily, they were all targeting the companions instead of me. If all of them decided to gang up on me, they might have actually been able to corner and kill me, which would have ended the run. After making it to the castle, I'm faced with Dinosaur Daedra, who kill the last of the guards, leaving only the Immortals. Once again, this is another I have no idea how I would have survived without my summon moment. These things are big, aggressive, and do a lot of damage. Luckily, they hate my summon, so after some close quarters fighting, I clear the last of the Daedra, and bring the last surviving guard, the Count's Ring, and I'm told that I'm a hero. But am I a champion of the arena, you might ask? Well, after feeling strong again, I decided to go back to the arena, finish up where I started, and do some more fighting. I managed to fight all the way up to the Great Prince, and this is where his tactical depression comes in, because the Prince will just let you kill him if he knows the origin of his birth. Killing our dead man walking has awarded us with some fancy armor and the title of the Grand Champion of the Arena. And most importantly, every week we can do a battle against some monsters, which nets us a lot of coin. Chapter 3. It's all mostly good from here. Okay, so basically, the situation I'm in is that I was having a lot of fun with the game, and I might have done some quests that I didn't have to, but I was having fun. One of which was a Daedra quest where I had to go free some trolls. The thing is that for some reason the guards weren't aggressive to me. This got me acting unwise, and I wanted to just open the gates to see if the trolls would fight the guards, so I tried to pickpocket one of them with my sneak. Which, by the way, my sneak is terrible, so I failed, and the guard called for help. Problem though, I'm in the back end of the cave, and all of the guards have just gone hostile and are coming for me. I am just barely able to kill a couple and then run out of there using health potions. And I think when I was starting to run, their aggro got distracted by Martin, who was doing his best to help me. This close brush with death made me realize that I need to stick with the main quest to save the world, so I decided to drop Martin off at his daycare center. But before I do that, I decide one last field trip, and I decide to enchant all my fancy armor. Basically, in terms of 1v1s, I'm nearly invincible. Obviously, the more people we throw in, the worse it could be, but I'm right now stronger than I've ever been. Chapter 4. First, the courage of a hero, now the strength of a hero. I'm going to be zooming it around here fast, because honestly, I am way overpowered for these Mythic Dawn quests. The most notable thing that happened was me, Mart, and the boys all fight some Daedra outside of Bruma, and I didn't record it, but there was this hilarious moment where Martin's giving his speech, and then the Daedra just rushes out and attacks him, completely interrupting him. But he's still giving the speech as he's knocked down. It was so funny. Then I run into the portal, grab the fancy sigil, and Martin says it's time to go make a portal and catch Epstein. After this, Martin tells me he's figured out how to teleport me into quote-unquote Epstein's paradise. Shortly after being teleported there, I meet with Epstein's Daedra manservant, who tells me that I'm pretty cool for a mortal, then says that I can either be his servant for a while, or we can fight. I'm not too worried, so I pick fight, beat him up, kill him, take his stuff, and then move in deeper. After going deeper, I meet up with Epstein and his kids, and we all have a battle. I kill them all, take his stuff, and get back the Amulet of Kings, and give it back to Martin. Realizing that this might be our only chance to relight the fires, we quickly teleport to the Imperial City so that Martin can become Emperor and light the beacons to stop the invasion. The Daedra, knowing this, send in everything they've got into the Imperial City, overwhelming the defenses and forcing us to quickly run to Talos Temple and hope to God that Martin can come up with a solution. His solution is to sacrifice himself to bring back the Avatar of Akatosh to battle with Dagon and stop the invasion. Martin sacrifices himself to ensure Akatosh is able to destroy Dagon, saving the world from destruction. After this, there's a brief moment of mourn for the Emperor that could have been, and I'm hailed as the savior of Cyrodiil. I'm given a title that only 6 have ever been given, and I'm told that there's going to be a big fancy drip armor made for me within 2 weeks. And that's where the history books of the hero of Kvatch end. Some historians say he managed to save the world with only 3 lives. Whatever that means. Chapter 5, Credits. I had a blast doing this challenge, in particular the early and mid-game, where I had to be so methodical, planning things out, and constantly thinking smart to survive. I'm honestly surprised that I even managed to successfully complete the challenge my first run through, given I haven't played the game in a decade. Oblivion has certainly aged in a lot of ways, but I don't know, it's got a sort of rustic charm to it, I guess. It's dated, but not in a way that takes away from the experience. I don't know if that's really a way you can describe a game, but it's kind of just how I feel. If you enjoyed this challenge so far, know I'll probably be doing more challenges in the future, and if you would be so kind, perhaps you could like and subscribe for more content. It would mean the world to me. There's not much to really say after that, since I don't have a lot of videos up. Get ready for more content to come, friends. See ya.